try to piss me off, I will throw you in the trash can, okay? When I was a teenager, I literally had a moment in my life where I was a legitimate stalker. But back then, I didn't realize that I was. I thought I'm doing the right thing out of true love. I thought what I am doing is romantic. like I legitimately thought to myself, I'm sure they will appreciate it. I'm sure they will fall in love with me and find it so romantic that I did all of this just to be close to them. Back then, I was like a whole nother level of insane. Do you want me to tell like the story? Or do you want me to keep it at that? We need oh god. Okay, so when I was 16, I was very obsessed with someone, and we lived in the same town, but I didn't know exactly where they lived. But we would talk online, you know, and he would ghost me for a few months every once in a while. And I thought, that's the man of my dreams. But I was obsessed, and eventually I started getting more and more obsessed. And so there was this one time when they ghosted me for a few months, and I was worried about them. I was very worried about them, and I wanted to know if they're okay. So I tried to figure out exactly where they live so that I could send them a letter. And I was like, maybe if they see like a physical letter from me, it will make them happy and feel better, and maybe they will open up to me and we will get closer and he will like me more. So I found like a program. I knew his first name, and then I was like digging around and trying to figure out his last name, and so I found the exact address where he lives on. I went on Google Maps and looked exactly where the apartment building he lives on. And I went there. I went there with my letter in my hand, and I was looking through all the mailboxes to find his last name, and I put the letter in. And then I waited. I was waiting for his reaction. He was not happy. he was not happy, to say the least. I mean, it made him talk to me again, so I was happy. I was like, oh my god, my letter worked! He's messaging me again! He's back! Let's go! So he messages me and he's like, I appreciate your letter and the things you wrote, but please do not send me any letters, and please do not come to my apartment building. I feel like you are invading my privacy. If you want to contact me, just be patient until I am back. He said those things, and I was like, okay, I was just very worried about you, and I wanted you to feel cared for, and I didn't want you to feel lonely, so I wrote you this letter. And he was like making me like empty promises that we will meet in person one day and he will teach me how to play the guitar and stupid shit like that. He didn't. So he ghosted me once again after making those promises for another few months. And this time he ghosted me for like almost 6 months, 5 months, 6 months. So I was getting like very, very worried. I was scared that he ended his life. Like, I legitimately was panicking that he ended his life, and that's why he doesn't come online anymore. So I was like, fuck, I need to clear my mind. I need to get reassurance that he's okay. I need to make sure he's alive and well. And I went to his apartment building once again. Even though know he clearly told me not to do that. So I'm just casually going to his apartment building, and in my head, I imagine him falling in love deeply with me for caring this much about him. So I come to the apartment building and I'm like, man, maybe the right thing would be to knock on his door and talk to him face to face. Maybe that will help. So I look at the mailboxes and the last name, and I'm trying to figure out what number door is his door. And I couldn't figure out if he was on floor 3 or floor 2. So what I did, I went to floor 2 and I knocked on a neighbor's door. And I was like, hello, excuse me. Do you know where this neighbor of yours lives? I can't tell if it's on this floor or the next one. And he's like, oh, yeah, sure. He lives upstairs on the 3rd floor, door number, whatever number it was. And I'm like, oh, okay, thank you so much. And I go upstairs and I'm nervous. I'm shaking. I'm imagining movie romance happening when the door opens. So I knock on the door and his mother opens the door and she's like, oh, hello, who are you? And I'm like, oh, hi, I'm a close friend of your son and I haven't heard from him in almost half a year. So I was very worried about him. So I just wanted to check on him and see if he's okay. And she's like, oh, okay, sweetie. Well, he's actually in his room right now sleeping, but you can come in for a little bit if you want. So I literally come into this guy's fucking house while he is asleep, and I am right fucking there in his fucking house, in his kitchen while he is asleep. And his mother, the irony of what his mother said is fucking hilarious. I was like talking to his mother about like how we started talking and stuff, and she was like, oh, that's so sweet. Oh, you're like an angel. Oh, thank you so much for taking care of my son and making sure that he's okay. And yeah, it happens to him. Sometimes he gets into a really bad mood and he doesn't want to talk to anyone for like months at a time. But you're such an angel. You're like his guardian angel and you're so sweet, and I appreciate you going through the effort of checking on my son. That's so sweet. And then she gave me a hug at the end, and then I was like, well, since he's sleeping and stuff, I'm just gonna leave. I got what I wanted. I knew he's okay and alive, so I got the information I needed, and so I left. So I come back home and I turn on my computer and I'm like really hyped and excited to see if he messaged me, and I'm like hoping he sent me like a really like nice and happy message and that he appreciates what I did. So I open an email and I see like this long fucking email from him, and he was furious to say the least. He was like, what did I tell you? I told you not once to not send me those letters. And what do? You go and do something even worse and go inside my house. You are invading my privacy in every way. You are extremely mentally ill. Please do not ever talk to me or anyone from my family ever again. I never want anything to do with you. And you know what my response was? I replied to the email and I said, okay, bye. You know, I should have said okay, bye, but I just wrote as you wish, and that was it. that was the end. That was the end of it. Bitchy Snowpaws is back in town tonight. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed.